Good evening, good morning, good afternoon to everybody who is joining us today at the live episode of the Business Case for AI and Blockchain. Today is a very special episode. We're closing the year. It's December. I hope you feel festive and Christmassy, but still are up for learning and meeting our very exciting guest. I've been really much looking forward to welcoming Cecilia Danesi, Professor, Advisor on Innovation, AI Governance and Digital Law. Cecilia has been in the space for a very long time. So what in the blockchain space we call OG, this what Cecilia represents in the AI space. And I really look forward to unpack some of the most interesting questions we all have around artificial intelligence, ethics, and the future of AI. So please welcome on stage, Cecilia. Hi, Cecilia.
Hi, thank you so much. Thank you for having me. Thank you for the invitation. I am very happy to be here with you and with all the audience today. Thank you.
Thank you so much for joining us. You are very busy. We know I follow your socials. You are giving lectures, launching books. So I'm very excited to discuss with you today everything you do. But let's begin with your journey. So your academic journey spans Perugia, Salamanca, Paris, Oxford, and Argentina and the whole of Latin America. So my first question is, why did you decide to dedicate your career to artificial intelligence and governance long before AI became this mainstream word and concept that now everybody's interested in?
Well, it started a very long time ago. I can say like a decade ago. I won a scholarship for doing a PhD, a master degree in Girona's University in Spain. The master degree was about tort law. I'm a lawyer, so that was the area that I was specializing in. And when I have already decided that I want to do the PhD too, so I was looking for a topic for my thesis, something new related to innovation, something challenging for me. So I was talking with my director, the thesis director, and I explained all these things that I want to reach. And he said, okay, let me think about this. And some weeks later, he sent me an email and he said, I was in Brussels for a meeting and we started to discuss about AI. I think that this should be the topic of your thesis. And I say, okay, what does it mean in the sense that how can I mix AI with law and with human rights and all of this? So I started to study and I loved the topic because nothing was written about AI and law at that moment. So I started to investigate, I started to research, and I did the thesis about who is going to be liable by the damages caused by AI. So that was the first topic that I started working in. And then I started like a new, I don't know how to say, like a new universe about AI, because I not just specialize or working in AI and law. I started to work more with AI governance, with social sciences, so more generally. But that was why I started to work on this a long time ago, and then I love with AI. So that was the history starts.
Very, very interesting. And this topic of governance. So you work with UNESCO, you work with governance bodies, you also advise to forums like G20. So the question that I was very interested to ask you is what was that defining moment when you realized that AI governance is the topic that will shape our society, that is the focus of sort of everything that goes around it?
Well, it was another trouble. I remember that moment because I was I was a visiting professor at Oxford University. I was in Oxford, and I was researching about AI and law, and I was giving lectures about AI and law and civil liability. And when I was studying, researching, I realized that AI is also a topic for the social sciences, not just a technical one. I realized that if we don't start working in AI, the implications, the impact into society, the human's rights, the gender equality, if we don't start working on this, the negative impact of the AI is going to be very, very huge. So at that moment in Oxford, I realized that the implication of the, for example, algorithmic biases or hallucination are going to be very huge, especially to increase the global gaps instead of closing it. No, so at that moment, I decided like to do two main things. One was to write the book, The Empire of Algorithms, because I wanted to transfer all my academic and scientific knowledge to create awareness for everyone, not just for scientifics, professors, academic, etc. I want to spread that knowledge and to create awareness about all these topics and all these issues, like the black side or the B side. Apart from that, I realized that all of the literature that I was reading and researching and working on was in English, and it wasn't all the small literature that I found about AI and law, governance, etc., in Spanish was a translation from English. So what means that no Spanish native speakers, so no the Ibero-American identity was reflected in the literature. So we need more voices from Ibero-America to working on AI, from our needs, our rights, our identity. So for all those reasons, I wrote the book. And then when I come back to Argentina, I opened, it was the first one, it was in 2018. I opened a course at the Faculty of Law at the University of Buenos Aires on AI and law, because I also thought that we need, as the lawyers, but I think that it has to be transversal in all the careers. We need to know about the implications, the impact of the artificial intelligence into societies from different perspectives. So I think that visiting professor at Oxford University was very important for me, and also to spread all this knowledge about the AI impacts.
This is very interesting. I would like to dive into what you said about representation of Latin American community and Spanish-speaking community.
Yeah.
Because there is so much information now about AI being biased, about platforms for hiring using AI, and then the data that the AI is being trained on is biased. It's one-sided, right? And it's, as you said, everything is in English. Our podcast is in English,
Yeah.
So like a lot of people come to search English first material. And what do you find particularly interesting about Spanish AI community, and where are the needs? And also, like, looking at broadly Latin America that you're teaching at universities, what is the landscape like in the classrooms? What are the most important topics that you discuss, and how do they differ from more international or English speaking perspective and view?
Well, I think that the first point is, in some countries, or generally in the global south, sometimes the calendar, so the next steps, are marked by the north, the global north. So the first point is try to find our own agenda, especially when we are talking about AI governance. But I think that there are a lot of people working on this and also a lot of government, but sometimes these foreign inputs are like marking our path, no? But the point of my study was to create awareness of what are the risks of the systems, and when we are using systems that were created outside, with systems that are foreign systems, it has a huge risk, and this is still happen. And the idea is not to forbid the technology, so to say, block. We are not going to use AI. We are not going to use social media, digital platform. No, this is sorry for the word, but this is stupid. Has no sense. But yes, on the contrary, we need to be aware the risk of this, and we need to have governments, private sectors, academic, social, civil association, etc., to working on these probable risks that are the reality. So in the classroom, in the communities, we are talking about this, absolutely, but we need also the political decision, the academic decision, so we can debate and create dialogues about this. But at one point, you need to have the support for all those actions, you know. So I think that we have a lot of work to do, especially, for example, I try to create a consensus and big groups of jobs, for example, working about gender equality, because this is not an Latin American or Ibero-American problem. This is a global issue. So it's easier to manage is from the women global perspective, you know. So I think that it could be very, very useful for the future. But yes, we have a lot of topics that we are addressing from Latin American perspective and for Ibero-American perspective, because I love to talk about Ibero-American perspective, because as the Ibero-American has a very similar tradition, identity, culture. So we have a lot of in common, especially when we talk about our language, no? But I think that it's easier and it's strategic to work as a region. So I think that I add a lot of things, but that are the main ideas.
Yeah, absolutely. This is super interesting. And like from your book, so for our audience to understand a little bit better what your book is about, could you name a couple of fundamental principles that you are unpacking in your work?
Well, the main objective, as I mentioned before, is to create awareness about the risk of the AI. Secondly, the book was launched in November 2022. It was a perfect timing because it was exactly the month when ChatGPT was launched too. So it was easier for me to talk about something that at that moment everyone was starting to use and talking about. So this was wonderful. So in the book, I talk about the visible AI and the invisible AI and the risk of both. We have the visible AI, for example, the autonomous weapons, the robots, the killer robots, and all of these AI systems that are created for military purpose or for the war. So in that case, it is easier to see the risk because you can see the system and the system is functioning and you can touch, see, it's tangible. But when we are talking about invisible AI, such as the algorithms in social media, in digital platform, the algorithms that decide who can go to the university and who cannot, is more difficult, because it's more difficult to us to realize that at least it's an algorithm who is deciding for us. So the main point of the book is first to create awareness, to show all of the scenarios in our daily life that we are using AI, and the AI deciding on behalf of us. And secondly, what can we do in order to have a more ethical technology? No, and apart from that, I alongside the book, I show a lot of examples of algorithmic bias, talking about gender equality, facial recognition systems, digital platforms, social media, and another example. So this is like the main idea of the book.
Very interesting, visible and invisible AI.
Yeah.
A lot of times we are very unconscious about what is really happening under the hood of all the platforms that we're using, and those that became indispensable in our daily life for communication, document exchange, even looking for jobs, creating communities, etc. Where do you see like the biggest problem now for ethical AI, for ethical implication of AI? And after you published the book also, what has changed from where you started in 2022? ChatGPT was very early. Nobody knew about it. Almost nobody was using it. And today in 2025, we're in a different sort of scenario.
Well, when I was writing the book, I know, because I was studying this for years, so I know that this that is happening now with AI or ChatGPT or large language models is going to happen. So when I was writing, I know that in the future this is going to happen, because I was analyzing the growing. But I think I think that the biggest challenge is to have or to reach the consensus to create like regulation, policies, practical guidelines, etc., about the AI, because we need a very, very big consensus. And this is not just about a country. We need regional consensus, regional conventions, regional agreements on that, because the big tech companies that are and the smallest one, the small group of big tech companies that are developing the technology, the AI systems, are dominating the world. They have the power, the real power, not just the economic one, the real one. So it's impossible for a small country to face against this power or to limit it, especially because we don't want to be out of the debate nowadays. No, so for example, one interesting case is the European Union example, that the European Union has the opportunity to debate, to talk, to build from their side, because they work as a bloc, as a region, and I think this is very important. So from the launch of the book, I think that the main key point was the AI Act of the European Union. I think that was the main important thing from that point. But everything depends on the geopolitics moment that we are facing. So it always changing around the globe. But I think that the main point was that the AI Act. And then I think that we have a lot of work to do, especially talking about AI governance in the world. Yeah.
Yeah, and Speaking about geopolitics, you just recently participated in T20 of the G20 summit and contributed to the policy brief. And I wanted to gain your perspective and your key impression after taking part in that summit,
Well,
comparing the two levels.
yeah, the summit was very interesting. It was the first time that an African country was organizing the G20, so it was very, very important. We debate too about AI governance and the monopoly that we can see around this technology. One of the points that we debate around was the position of the global south in these arguments, in this issue about AI. And it's difficult to work on this because, as we know, the global south is not a provider of or a developer of the AI technology. So how can the global south take part in the discussion without being a provider? Because we are users and we create a lot of data, a lot of resources that are used to create the technology. And also I am talking about natural resources. So we are part of the process, but with limited actions of the whole process. And sometimes the benefits of the process is not benefiting, giving advantages equally around the globe. So that was some of the part that we debating. But as you know, the G20 is changing every year. Next year, from now, United States is the presidency, has the presidency of the G20. So each country mark a little bit the agenda for the year. So each year, the last year was Brazil, and it's changing a little bit each year with the agenda of the presidency of that year. But it's a very enrichful and interesting summit, because you have people from all over the world debating about these current topics. So it's a very important space to talk about these models that are a priority for the global agenda.
Absolutely, because Global South has been the conversation for the COPs, for climate change, and Africa is growing. Nigeria is becoming one of the most demographically important countries. BRICS is gaining more power, more momentum, and there is a different exchange of information. And I'm also participating in all the forums regarding more on the side of the blockchain technology. But it's very interesting moment in history where I believe professionals like yourself play a key role in advancing this and being even present, because what I'm noticing is that from the industry perspective, everybody is so focused on building their company or teaching a course or doing just one thing, and then the industry and the governments often don't talk. So it's very important to have the dialogue and to break the silo between the industry and what is really going on in companies, global south, universities, to really make governments understand what the priorities are and hopefully change it for the better. And
Yeah.
speaking about United Nations, so one of the information I have in the recent reports is that as of 2025, United Nations Gender Snapshot report estimates that nearly 28% of women's jobs worldwide are potentially exposed to automation by AI, compared with 21% of men. And according to OECD's 25 gender equality in a changing world analysis, we have occupational and industrial segregation and the digital transformation that will continue affect women and men unevenly, largely because women remain underrepresented in research, innovation, and other roles at the digital frontier. So that is what the report is saying to us. And within this contents, Cecilia, what practical advice would you offer to women who want to build AI related skills and thrive as this global economy and local economy and our workplaces become much more AI driven?
Well, I think that first of all, for me, like the most important thing is education. For example, capacity building programs or something like this. So I think that it's very important that the groups that are developing AI have to be more inclusive. They have to be with more diversity, because most of the groups of the engineers, programmers, etc., are most integrated by white men that all have been studying the same career. So no diversity is in that kind of groups. So I think that it's going to be very useful, not just for women, for the war, to have a more inclusion, more diversity in the people who is developing the technology. So I think that we need more women, but not just more women from the STEM careers or the engineers, or no, also from the social sciences, because nowadays the companies that are creating technology are also incorporating other profiles more related with social sciences. So, my practical advice is to have more women involving in the AI ecosystem, but not just from the STEM careers, also from the social science perspective, because we need it. And it's not just about women; it's about diversity. So we need, in general, more diversity on this. And secondly, my general advice is to be curious about the future, about the AI, about the innovation. I started to work on AI more than 10 years ago because I applied for a scholarship. Well, I applied for a lot of scholarship, and finally I won that and then another, but it was like a long process. You have to work a lot, you have to search a lot, you have to do a lot of things. So I think that nobody is going to knock your door and say, I have a new opportunity for you. No, this never happens. So you have to go for it. So I always say, like, the worst scenario is to stay at home, because no opportunities are going to appear at home. So I think, like, the most important thing is to be curious, to look for new opportunities, to go out, to travel around the world. And if you don't have money, you have a lot of opportunities online that you can apply for it and have all these opportunities. So move and get inspiration from other person. I think it's very important.
Super useful advice. Move, people.
I hope
Life
so.
is movement.
Yes.
Life is movement. No, nothing stands still. And Cecilia, like we already discussed, we're not going to go back and reverse in technology. AI is here to stay.
Yeah.
So being aware is super important. And in this context, like of your work, I was wondering: is there an Ibero-American AI project in the works, or is there any project that you can recommend women and everybody who is curious to join, maybe as a listener, maybe as a participant?
Well, you have different initiatives, for example, in some countries and some regional organizations. But the problem is that most of these of those initiatives are very political related, in the sense that when the government change, or the people who is in charge change, we have to start again. So we have like start and start again, and so is nothing happens. So I cannot recommend one because it depends on the country and it depends on the international organization. But there are many of these working on these topics. Many.
And I know that you are teaching at multiple universities. One of them is University of Salamanca, and you are in charge of the master's program in AI. Can you tell us a little bit more about that? And if someone who's watching us in our audience, aspiring students or professionals who are looking to change their career path, if they want to join you?
Yeah, well, this is an online master degree on ethic governance of the AI at the Pontifical University of Salamanca. If you want to get more information, you can, in my Instagram account, which has just my name, you have a lot of information about this master degree. This was one of the first master degree related on AI and ethic governance. So what we see in the master is the study of the social of the impact of the AI from the social science perspective. So we have some courses that are more technical to understand what we are talking about, but then we have the study of the AI phenomenon from the different social science perspectives. So we have professors and also students, because most of our students are professionals that are working on AI. So it's a very big and interesting ecosystems. So we have professionals from communication, linguistic, lawyers, policymakers, journalists, education, professors. So it's philosophers. So we have a very huge interesting profiles that are part of the master degree. And we have a summer school at the beautiful city of Salamanca, because it's an amazing one. Normally it's in June, July. And in this summer school, we join our students, but also the main important experts that are working about AI governance in the world. So this is not just a master degree in the sense that you are going to learn something. Also, you are going to be part of a very big network on AI governance. Most of our students, when they finish the master degree, they change the job. So some companies change to another better position, or start to work as an advisor with the international organization, because like they have all the resources and the skills in order to be part of this new work market nowadays. So I love the master. So for me, it's like very interesting as a professional to be part of the master, because we are continuous updating our knowledge about AI.
Which is super fast paced, and it's difficult to keep up with the speed.
Yeah,
and
very.
What do you find like what interests you most right now about the AI developments? Because there is agentic AI now. Don Tapska just introduced to us agentic AI. There's AI infrastructure, problems around energy, compute, etc. What is like also from ethics perspective? What are you most, say, passionate about right now in this specific moment?
Well, about me, I am working about FIMI, foreign information manipulation and interference, and disinformation. I think that this is one of the main challenge, because it's affecting our democracies, our electoral processes. So I love this topic, because I think that is completely changing our roots. And then about gender equality is another topic that I love to work to, and also about sustainability. So how AI is using our natural resources in order to nourish the AI. So these are the topics that I'm working on, and I am most passionate nowadays.
Super interested about the first one. If you could unpack a little bit, what are the solutions or possible solutions? Because that is really, also from the blockchain perspective, a very big problem. How do we make sure that whatever we see online or entities with which we interact, especially on social media platforms, are not bots, are not AI, or not deep fakes? Or are there other aspects that you could tell us a little bit deeper about the problem and then the solution?
There is not an unique answer, or like the answer that is going to resolve our problems, because we have a lot to do and it's a very, very complex problem. One of the main actions that we can do is, first of all, to create awareness of this problem. Nowadays, most of the people who is using social media believes that what we see is something like magic, or that is everything is real, and this is not the case. So first of all, we have to create awareness of this, and as a users or consumers, we have to do a double check of everything. The problem is that when we see a post or a content that reinforce our beliefs, we are going to share it, or we are going to interact with this. So we are going to learn to the algorithms that this content has to be viralized in order to share with more people. And this is the mistake. So we have to do a double check, especially when we like this kind of content, because when we like it, we are going to share it a lot, we are going to interact a lot, we are going to engage a lot. So we need to check more than 2 times that this information is true, especially because we have some actors, local and international ones, that are trying to manipulate our public discourse, our elections, our decisions. So it's very important to be aware of this and to combat this, trying to check everything.
And other practical ways which you personally, for example, use to check the information that you receive online, would it be more like community endorsement or more technical?
I try, well, first of all, I think that we have to put the social media in the place that it has to put. Our life is around social media, and I think that this is a mistake. So we have to use, of course, social media. I use it for work purpose. I use it for know how much, what my friends are doing around the world, but not to be all the day doing everything about through social media. And secondly, what I do is try to read the news or informate from secure websites, for example, with newspapers or media outlets that are rely for me, so that I rely on them.
That's a lot of work to do in terms of understanding, and probably in the coming years it will be more and more complex, more and more difficult to check and to know. So we'll be on the outlook of the new tools and the new proposals that help us stay safe online. And Cecilia, what is your message to everybody building AI today, like engineers, founders, also policymakers who are influencing, like building legislation frameworks, about the responsibility we collectively hold for the systems we're putting into this world?
Well, I think that the main important thing is that they have to be aware that they are not creating a game, a play, a simple technology. They are creating something that has the power to change the world, to impact directly on the rights of the persons. As Cathy Neal mentioned in her books, these are weapons of mass destruction. So as a creator of the technology, they have to be aware of the risk and the impact that this technology has. What they can do, know more about the risk, for example, know more or learn more about the ethical aspect of the AI, about the implication on privacy, personal data privacy concern, about the gender equality issues with the AI. So know more about the consequences and how they can work in order to create a more inclusive and no discrimination technology.
Thank you for that message, builders. We hope that you follow Cecilia and you follow the ethical pathway for AI. And Cecilia, as we are approaching the end of our conversation, which was very insightful, and I'm very grateful for your inputs, and it was very interesting to learn about your journey, which also tells to me, and I hope to many of you, especially women, that you have to be proactive, you have to start somewhere, get curious, get to learn, and then the world of AI can open its door to you. So I've prepared a very quick fire round of 6 questions.
Okay.
Yeah, so with just sort of one word or one phrase, I want you to answer the following questions. So let's go. Question number 1. One misconception about AI governance you wish everyone would drop immediately.
That the AI is going to block the innovation is we regulate it.
Second question. A country or institution you believe is making the most promising move in AI regulation.
In European Union, not just about the European Union, but also the Brussels effects, well known, that this is going to spread the AI governance around the world.
Question number 3. The most overused word in AI policy space right now.
Innovation and future? I think so.
Number 4, a book other than your own that every AI practitioner should read.
Well, as I mentioned before, Weapon of Mass Destruction, I think, is the best.
Number 5, one AI risk that businesses are still underestimating.
Well, apart from ethical concern, I can say the reputational harm caused by placing discrimination system on the market. Reputational harm, worse.
She's killing it. And last question.
Okay.
One AI opportunity that businesses are still overlooking.
AI as a tool for inclusion. Yeah.
Thank you so much. This was fantastic. We had a lot of takeaways, Cecilia. So as we're wrapping up, guys, sorry.
It's difficult to summarize everything. You know, I won't speak a lot, so.
If you have questions, guys, please drop them in the chat. We will try to answer them in writing because today we had very dynamic discussion. So please, if you want to reach out to Cecilia, please tell us, where can we find you? What are you working on? And what is your next event?
Well, you can find me on Instagram or also in LinkedIn. My name is Cecilia Danesi, so you write it, and I am more active in Instagram. I am working on FIMI. Well, I am working at the university and also with some project with the European Union about AI and, as I mentioned, FIMI, etc. And next year, well, I have some different places that I'm going to visit, but I don't know how it's going to be the first. Maybe Chile, maybe Cannes. I don't know what is going to be the first, but I have some of them. Also United States, so different in different part of the world. Yeah.
super exciting, and I hope that we'll see you also in Spain and the United
Yeah,
Arab Emirates. There's a lot going on here, so very much looking forward to meet you in person again and maybe attend some of your lectures. Super curious about what you're working on. Thank you so much once again for finding the time and for answering some of the very important questions, ethical questions, and for advancing inclusivity and participation of Global South and of women into this new economy and new technological revolution. So thank you, everybody, for joining us.
thank you.
You can find the business case for AI and blockchain on LinkedIn, on X. Follow us also on Instagram. And Cecilia, as you're still here, one last question. Sorry, I'm bringing, because the audience is asking, this is very important. Where to start to learn about AI if you're studying law, just beginning career, one step?
I think that you have to search for more courses that are focusing on AI but not from the technical aspect. So AI and law, AI and social science, impact, more like general. So I used to share courses about AI and law in my Instagram. I don't remember any now because as we are ending the year, so it's the next year are going to start some news. But one important thing is to be sure that as you mentioned at the beginning, there is a lot of noise nowadays related to AI. So to go to a very serious company institution in order to study AI.
Well, you all know where to find Cecilia on Instagram. She posts a lot about masters, so we're going to check it out.
Yeah, okay.
Thank you so much once again.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. It was a pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you so much, guys. The business case for AI and blockchain, DAO for Business on X. And we're looking forward to our next episode in the next year already. So wishing you happy festive season for yourself and your loved ones, and see you next year. Cheers. Thanks for joining.